tell you, I was literally at this party, gone and faded, girl, and we is literally in that goddamn bush, and we is having the time of our life, girl. Let's dive into today's wonderful story time for you girls. Hello, it's about to another video. My name is Alizé, and I'm your favorite black transsexual. Get up into the big purr, whatever. I'm back. And before we get into today's wonderful story time, girl, I need you guys to like, comment, and subscribe because you will never find another ghetto black transsexual like me. Hello, hello, hello. I'm beautiful. You're beautiful. Get up into the big purr, whatever. Go ahead and lock in on myself. So y'all, today's video is going to be my first house party, and it has a little twist to it, girl, because I'm not going to lie, girl. Back in the day, girl, I was ghetto. I was living lit. Hey, I was in my hot girl summer era, like, ah! Let me stop, girl. Let me stop blowing out y'all eardrums. No tea, no shade, girl. Bada bing, bada boom. So y'all, you already know, girl, I was living it up, girl. I was living my fantasy up, girl, and I had this one homegirl. We're going to call her Eiffel Tower or whatever, right? Because if you know where the Eiffel Tower is, bada bing, bada boom, put two and two together. Not going to say too much, right? So Eiffel Tower or whatever, right? You know, she was doing my hair or whatever, right? So I went over to her house initially to get my hair done, and she was just going to do my wig, like, or whatever, right? I'm not going to lie, that wig was a holy hot mess, but it was okay. It was cute. No tea, no shade, right? So she, you know, doing my hair. I went over to her house. We're having a wonderful time, girl. I'm not going to lie. That night, we didn't even really, like, you know, even get to do my hair because we was drinking that, you know, Don Julio Actafolio. So she also invited this one girl. We're going to call her Key because it has her name in there or whatever, right? No tea, no shade. So Eiffel Tower and Key, you know, girl, we're taking, you know, shots. Like, girl, we're getting lit. Like, girl, when I tell you we're having the thrill of it, like, we're having the thrill of it. Like, we're literally living it up, right? So, y'all, I'm not going to lie. Before we crash or whatever, right? I'm not gonna lie, my girl, like my homegirl at the time, she used to be so lit. Like, she used to go to parties or whatever. I've never been to a house party. So she asked me, she was like, Alizé, you want to go to a house party or whatever, right? I'm not gonna lie, y'all. This was literally after the fact of, you know, she literally outed me to those boys and told them that I was trans and stuff. It was a whole lot, girl. And like, we did, like, you know, sums together, like we had like multiple guys in the same room or whatever. Like, it was a lot going on, girl, but we're skipping that part, girl, because that's a whole nother story time that I already posted. No tea, no shade, right? Y'all, when she asked me have I ever been to a party, I'm like, no, girl, I want to go to a party or whatever, right? But I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like was flaking out because I didn't have nothing to wear, and I was so scared. Like, y'all, when I tell you, like, I didn't want to go to a party just looking like a regular, like, person. Like, I just wanted to look good, right? And now I know how to dress, but at the time, I showed literally did not know how to dress. No tea, no shade. So, y'all, when I tell you, she's like, we're gonna figure this out, and we're gonna have a good time or whatever, right? So we went to bed, right? So the following morning or whatever, right, you know, she does my hair or whatever, right, because we wake up from my hangover or whatever, right? So I'm not going to lie, we were playing that Megan Thee Stallion or whatever, girl. We talking about big old freak, big booty, big old treat. Like, no tea, no shade, we're lit. So I'm not going to lie, I had my hair done or whatever, right? And so I was like, I don't know if I really want to go to that party still. She's like, Alizé, come on, stop being chicken, stop being a chicken, stop being a chicken. I'm like, girl, but I don't know. Like, I really don't know if I really want to go to this party because, like, there's going to be, like, hood dudes, and then there's going to be my crush because at the time, y'all, I was crushing on this one boy. We're going to call him Glasses for the sake of the story time. I actually have a picture of him. I might show y'all a little, you know, a little body picture, girl, to be a little, you know, some, you know, visuals. But like, so y'all, she ended up convincing me because she's like, girl, we're gonna get in free, it's ladies free and stuff, and you're gonna be with me, this and that. I'm like, okay, you know what, forget it. She's like, this is your one time to have fun. It was definitely not my one time because we went to a couple of parties after that, but yeah, no tea, no shade. So we're getting dressed. She ended up giving me this jersey or whatever, right? So I had this little jersey on or whatever, girl. I'll show you the little picture, girl. I know their faces are in it, but I really don't care. No tea, no shade. But yeah, she gave me this little jersey or whatever, right? So y'all, I'm not gonna lie, we're getting lit, we're having fun. So she done copped us a Uber, right? So we're all in the Uber or whatever, right? We feeling like bad just or whatever, girl. We're getting lit. Hello. So y'all, I do want to say viewer discretion is advised, because after this little part, it's going to get a little graphic. No tea, no shade. So y'all, I'm not going to lie. We're on the way to the Uber. I'm so genuinely anxious because this is like my genuinely first house party. And I'm not going to lie, like the host, he fine as hell. Like no tea, no shade. Like he like Mexican, but he looked like he got some black in him. Like I don't think so, but like he cute though. No tea, no shade, right? So y'all, we're on the way to the goddamn house party or whatever, right? And so, mind you, the Uber driver asking us, where you ladies going? So we finna get turned tonight. And then y'all, we recorded, I don't know if I can find this video, but like we recorded us a video talking about hot girl summer. Yes. I'm like, girl, this is fun. Like I was living. So y'all, we get out the car or whatever because we done made it to the goddamn house party or whatever, right? And so immediately when we walk in or whatever, right? I guess I passed the no girl because they didn't ask for no money, because it was guys. Guys costed like $25 to get in, maybe $30. I don't remember, but like ladies were free. So they didn't charge me. So I was like, oh girl, I'm giving real fish. But they said before we come in, we all had to take a shot or whatever, right? It was literally Crown, y'all. It was Crown. So I'm like, oh my God, like we got to take this Crown. So y'all, we taking a Crown bottle or whatever, right? It's like shot. I don't know if I can find these visuals, but if I can, they'll be like in the videos or whatever, right? But it's like, you know, we taking shots or whatever and we're getting lit, girl. I'm not going to lie, y'all.
Okay, Paris. Y'all ugly as fuck. Y'all ugly as fuck. You lightweight. Bitch, you lightweight.
So literally, we drank the whole bottle. The whole bottle of what they had, we drank the whole bottle. Because it was a full bottle. Like, I don't know if y'all know what Crown looks like, but it was like, basically like this. The whole thing was gone after we got done with it. So, y'all, I'm not going to lie. We turned, baby. It's turned. So, y'all, we're in there, right? And so, you know, we walking around, we chilling or whatever. At the time, my homegirl had this one guy she used to be fooling around with. We're gonna call him X or whatever, right? For the sake of this story time. So X or whatever, right? I don't think he really liked it, her. He was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna crack that and, you know, I'm gonna go on my business. But she actually genuinely liked it him, which is so crazy to me, but that's not here or there, right? So y'all, when I tell you, things kind of like shifted because like, you know, she's like trying to look for her man or whatever, right? But I'm like by myself at this point, right? So I'm texting my homegirl. I'm like, girl, where you at? You know, I don't know these people. I'm scared or whatever, right? And so then these like Mexican boys came over here, and I'm not gonna lie, one of them was kind of like chunky or whatever, right? He's like, what? Hey, La Mama, what you doing out here alone and stuff like that? And so then I put the phone down. I'm like, boy, I'm not doing nothing. Like, I'm just chilling. Like, you know, I'm waiting on my homegirls to get out the bathroom or whatever. Girl, whole time I'm lying through my damn mouth. No tea, no shade. And so he's like, hey, can I get your Instagram? I'm like, hell yeah, you get my Instagram, girl. I was getting turned that night, girl. I was like, let me get all the trade. Let me get all the trade, right? So I finally found my homegirl after me talking to this dude or whatever, right? So she like, girl, I feel sick. I need to go to the bathroom, right? So we all go to the bathroom or whatever, right? Y'all, they throwing up, girl. They is throwing up. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, you know, I'm kind of like stuck there because I'm not like throwing up or anything, right? So y'all, I'm not gonna lie, my homegirl's in the bathroom throwing up, and then my other homegirl, like I said, like, you know, she skirted off or whatever, right? So long story short or whatever, we all meet up together because, like, you know, we need to regroup or whatever, right? So we're like in the field or whatever, right? I'm not gonna lie. At first, we went kind of early, so it wasn't really that many people. Sorry for leaving that detail out, but like it started getting more and more packed. So literally, I kid you not, it like was kind of packed and was like a dudes or whatever, right? And they was toting those little pow-pows in the air or whatever, right? So y'all, this is where things get a little, you know, twisted or whatever, right? So tell me why, right? Literally, I'm chilling or whatever, right? And they play some Zero. I've never heard a Zero before, but like literally, ever since then, I've always been a zero friend. It's literally like slow, lot of banging, all in my trunk full of funk. I ain't never been no punk. I blow on skunk, I blow on Doja, military medic. I'm a mother and soldier. Like, oh my God, me and my homegirls are turned. Like, we is turned. And so then they started playing that twerking music, girl. I'm over in the back shaking my bones, girl. Not gonna lie, don't have no ass to shake. Like, I can't twerk at all, but I was having the time of my life, girl. So the host or whatever, he was hitting his little black or whatever, right? And it's not even a black, but I'm calling it black for this video or whatever, right? So he hitting his little stuff or whatever, right? So my homegirls dare me to go asking for the little thing or whatever, right? So girl, I'm bold, literally, especially when I'm in the when I'm like whatever, right? Girl, I'm in the mode. So I asked him, I was like, hey, can I hit your little thing or whatever? I didn't even know how to, pup pass at the time, right? So, like, I'm literally asking him. He looked at me. He like, yeah, little mom, you can hit this. So, girl, I guess I was really giving fish, girl, because he was fine, baby. He was fine. So, y'all, I'm not going to lie. I grabbed it or whatever, girl. So, I'm hitting it or whatever, right, girl? And so then my homegirls, they like trying to fight me for it. I'm like, girl, here, y'all, here. And then he was like, y'all can keep it. Y'all can keep it. I'm like, we bad as fuck, right? So, y'all, I wanted to get more twisted. I wanted to get more lit, right? So, y'all, I'm asking people for, shots or whatever. I'm like, shot. Like, it's baddie, shot o'clock. Like, I'm trying to get all the, mixes and juices all up in my system or whatever, right? So, y'all, long story short, things fast forward. Let's get into it or whatever, right? My homegirl ended up skirting off with her dude or whatever, Eiffel Tower, right? So, Eiffel Tower skirted off, and this other girl, Key or whatever, right? She went back to the bathroom because she was throwing up. I was like, girl, they just left me alone again. So they playing some NBA YoungBoy. I'm by myself, and I ended up seeing that dude or whatever, right? So I saw that dude or whatever, right? So we're talking on the trampoline or whatever, right? And so I'm not gonna lie, we're literally just sitting there talking. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even think he could see me because it was dark. And good thing he couldn't see me because baby, I was looking a holy hot mess. But no tea, no shade. We talking and, I'm feeling all up on his chest or whatever. And, things are getting, kinky, if you get what I mean or whatever, right? And so then, I'm not going to lie, y'all. He's like, ooh, I like the way you talk or whatever, right? Because I'm not going to lie, y'all. I be talking like hella like freaky when I like in that mood or whatever, right? So y'all, he's like, let's go to my car or whatever, right? Your car? Oh my God, you're too bold. So whole time I'm forgetting that I'm trans at this party. Like, I'm forgetting that I'm a whole black trans woman. I can literally be taken off. There's literally dudes here with pals. Like, I'm literally not thinking of that. So I'm like, I don't know right now. Like, hold up, let me find my homegirls real quick and then make sure they say. He's like, okay, bet, I'll be right here. I'm like, okay, period. So whole time I'm like that little, how do I say it? The juices are actually starting to kick in. So like I'm starting to tumble. Literally, I'm bumping into people or whatever. People get mad at me or whatever, right? And so then I ended up bumping into this one dude. So I'm not gonna say no names, but this is basically who Key lost her virginity to, basically, right? So literally, I bumped into this dude or whatever, right? We're gonna call him Alien for the sake of his story time. So Alien, right? I'm not gonna lie, he kind of had like a little deep voice, not too long, not too deep, not too big or whatever, right? So, I'm talking to him or whatever, right? And so, girl, they started playing that slow music or whatever. So I'm in the groove or whatever. And, he talking to me and then he started kissing all up on my neck. I forgot that I'm trans, y'all. Like, I'm genuinely forgetting that I'm trans. So, I'm going with the rhythm or whatever, girl. He started touching on my badonka or whatever, right? I don't even think I was tucked at the time either, girl. That's the crazy part, right? So he touching all up on my badonka or whatever, girl. And so, I started touching all up on his jizz or whatever, girl. I started touching on that goddamn princess wine. So I'm touching all up on his princess wine. I literally get right there on my goddamn, thing of things or whatever, girl. And then I stopped for a second. I was like, am I really finna do this in front of all these people? I got back up. I got back up. And I was like, you know what? You cute. I got a homegirl for you. That's when it kicked in that I was trans, girl. I'm not gonna lie, girl. So, y'all, I kid you not. literally, he's like, who's your homegirl? So then I'm looking for my homegirls because my phone done died, right? I had the purse at the party or whatever, right? Which I don't know why. We had $400 in purse. Literally, I forgot to say all this, but we had $400. We had like 6 phones in there because each of us had 2 phones. It was a lot. So remember all these details, right? So, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go find my homegirls and I'm gonna find you again, right? So, I'm stumbling away with my little tipsy self or whatever. I stumble away, girl. And I ended up finding, Key or whatever, right? So Key or whatever, right? She's like, Alize, I am the girl. I'm like, me too. And so we start screaming, yes. And then the people are looking at us like we're crazy, but like we're literally just living, right? And so then y'all, they ended up playing my favorite song. I was sitting at the bar when this wolf fire drinking over. Say he wanna get to know me. I said, boy, just bend me over. Shake for your ooh, you work for your ooh, you drive for your ooh, you go out for your ooh. Wow, wow, wow. So, girl, when I tell you I am living in the mood, I am living for it. Like, I am having all types of fun, girl. And so, I forgot that I was supposed to hook up my homegirl. So then I stopped. I was like, girl, you remember when you linked with that one boy and he really wasn't putting it down? She's like, yeah, girl, you got a new food do for me? I'm like, yes, girl, this bald-headed man right here, this alien dude right here. She's like, Alize. I'm like, girl, it's big, though. It's big. So, girl, I'm not gonna lie. They ended up, like, getting in contact or whatever, long story short. So, let's get back to the present. So, I'm trying to find my homegirl, Eiffel Tower, right? So, I told homegirl to, go talk to that dude or whatever. I'm going to go find my homegirl or whatever, right? So, I'm looking for Eiffel Tower. And so, I literally, go into like, let's say like this, the street or whatever. I leave the party, basically. So, I'm looking for her. Tell me why she's literally in the goddamn, she's not even in the car. She's like outside the car, like doing what she's doing. I'm living. I was like, yes, girl. I didn't even stop her or anything. I was like, I know that's right, girl. And I walked back into the party. I'm just making sure she's safe or whatever, right? So I get back in the party or whatever, right? And so that's when I guess, we lit or whatever. Long story short, Eiffel Tower and X came back or whatever, right? So Eiffel Tower and X came back. So let me give y'all a little, backstory. So X and what did we call him? Not X and Alien. Well, X, Alien, and that one boy with the muscles. I don't know what I call him. We just gonna call him Buck, I guess. Buck. So yeah, X, Buck, and blah blah blah. They all cool or whatever, right? So they go back to hanging out. So it's the 3 of them, and then it's the 3 of us. So I'm not gonna lie, bitch. I'm bold. I wanted to link with boy or whatever, right? I wanted to link with him or whatever, with the abs or whatever, right? So I'm like, yeah. So, I guess, they like talking or whatever, and then we ended up playing like cup pong or whatever. So we're playing cup pong, things are getting fun, things are getting lit. And so then that's when like Eiffel Tower and X, they ended up throwing up. So like they throwing up, they crashing out, girl. It's a lot going on. So that's when, Alien, Alien and Key, they chilling or whatever. So that just leaves me with Buck and, just Buck and me, right? So we on the trampoline or whatever, and I sit on his lap, girl. I sit on his lap. I started making out with him. I didn't really care. Didn't care about my damn life. I really don't give a fuck. I'm kissing. So, he picked me up and he started grinding me on his little thing, girl. I was having the time of my life, girl. Cause I'm not gonna lie, everybody was gone. Everybody was gone. So I'm not gonna lie, all my morals went out the window, girl. I whispered in his ear. I was like, you do know I'm trans, right? He's like, shh, ain't nobody need to know that. And so, girl, we started making out. We started grinding, and one thing led to another, and I'm giving him that washing machine treatment and a goddamn trampoline. So, y'all, I kid you not. Things we're living, my other homegirl, she's doing what she's doing on the trampoline as well with her man. They just sloppy and it's just drool and saliva and all the fluids all on the trampoline. We making out. Then Key over there making out. It's a lot going on, right? So we ended up all stopping because literally, tell me why the police pulled up. Woo, woo, woo! Woo, woo, woo! Girl, the cops pulled up and they trying to arrest everybody. Girl, me and my homegirl, I grabbed my homegirl. I'm like, y'all, come on, y'all. They trying to arrest everybody, girl. I started screaming, bitch. I don't play them games. I am not going to jail. I am not going to jail. So I told my homegirl, I'm like, come on, girl, come on. So, girl, we two. Girl, I'm gone, baby. I'm like, two. Girl, I gotta go. So, girl, literally, we ran down the street or whatever. We sitting on the sidewalk or whatever, right? So then that's when, like, you know, what do we call him? Buck, Alien, and X. They all rode past us, but they stopped. And they were like, y'all need a ride? And then we like, no, we don't need no ride or whatever. And so then they was like, we're gonna keep in contact. So then they skirt off or whatever, right? And so then that we just chilling or whatever, right? The cops is ringing everybody up or whatever. And so my homegirl's over here crying. She like, I don't want to go to jail. Why did these guys take us in jail? I don't want to go to jail. I'm like, girl, come on, calm down. We're not going to jail. And so then that's when these Mexicans, the Mexicans who I was talking about, who wanted my Instagram at first, they ended up pulling up. So they pulled up on us and they was like, y'all need a ride home? Y'all need a ride home? We like, hell yeah. So I'm in the back of the goddamn, I'm in the trunk, drunk as fuck. Like, I'm gone, bitch. My wig, that bitch off. And then Key, she laid on this random nigga lap. And then, girl, Eiffel Tower, she talking to the driver. So she talking to the driver, touching all up on his leg. Long story short, we go home or whatever, right? They ended up doing something that night and the night after, girl. It's a lot going on. No tea, no shade. She had fun. Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna shame her for that because she taught me a lot of things about being a 304. Love her down. But that was that. That was that. And I'm not gonna lie, if y'all want part 2 to this story, because I'm telling you, this was one of my favorite homegirls. Technically, because she introduced me to a lot. I don't mess with her now because she's transphobic and she's rude as fuck and she's fake. But no tea, no shade. Let's get into it. If you guys enjoyed this wonderful, amazing story time, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on post notifications because you will never find another ghetto black transsexual like me. I hope YouTube does not demonetize this video, but we'll figure it out when we upload it. But I love you guys. Street Nicki Minaj. I gotta go, girl. Boom shakalaka. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada ba ba ba. Bye, bitch.